Hello, I'm Alex from the BSC Designer team. Strategic planning can be approached differently. Some organizations tackle it formally, writing a strategic plan that nobody actually uses. Others take it seriously, involving key individuals at all levels, thus increasing the chances for successful strategy execution. In this tutorial, we'll discuss three tiers of employee involvement in strategy and three maturity level of organizations in strategic planning. Let's start by discussing the various tiers of employee involvement in strategic planning. Sometimes business leaders say that strategy is everyone's job. In this case, we're obviously referring to tier 1 awareness level. In other words, we're saying that all employees should have an understanding of their organization strategy. What do we mean by strategy awareness? It could be general awareness when the employees know the company's mission and vision statements. It might be more specific when employees understand the role of their business unit in accomplishing the company's mission. In the best case scenario, employees understand perfectly the current strategic context required to perform their job. Strategic awareness is required but not sufficient for successful strategy execution. We also need some people who will actually work on strategy. Moving to tier 2 of involvement, we are talking about the possibility for employees to contribute to the strategy. This contribution may involve providing performance data to their functional scorecards or sharing comments about performance trends. Finally, Tier 3 is defined in strategy ownership or collaboration. In addition to understanding the strategy context and contributing with performance data, employees at this tier are involved in what we know as classical strategic planning activities: analysis of stakeholders and their needs, converting high level goals into specific objectives, quantifying objectives with key performance indicators, defining action plans, conducting risk analysis, formulating strategic hypotheses and validating them in practice, tracking performance outcomes, learning, and adapting strategy to new factors. We have outlined the three tiers of employee involvement in strategic planning. You may wonder, how many employees should be on each tier? The answer depends on your organization's maturity in strategic planning and the business domain in which you operate. Among the users of BSC Designer software, we observe three different levels of organizational maturity in strategic planning. At the first level, organizations approach strategy formally. Most likely, there is a document called strategic plan with some high level goals and metrics defined. But this document is not actually used to support business decisions. Sometimes strategic planning in such organizations is simply another term for comprehensive budgeting processes. At the second level, strategy is approached more systematically. There is a dedicated strategy team focused on analyzing challenges and formulating objectives. The primary criterion at this level is the top to bottom cascading of strategy, where the strategy is mandated to other business units and is expected to be accepted without major changes. Finally, the third level is collaborative strategy. In this case, each business unit has its own small strategy team working on translating high level strategy into the reality of their business unit. Unlike cascaded strategy, collaborative strategy is decentralized. Local strategy teams follow established strategic themes to develop their strategy and functional scorecards, which are later aligned with the high level strategy. We can combine the idea of tiers of employee involvement with the idea of maturity levels on this matrix diagram. At the level of formal strategy, around 1% of employees are involved in collaboration or ownership, with up to 3% contributing. And we expect all employees to have a general awareness of the strategy. In the case of cascaded strategy, more employees are involved as collaborators and contributors. Finally, at the level of collaborative strategy, we typically see that 5–10% of employees are actively working on strategy, with 15–30% in contribution tier. In terms of strategy automation, the tiers of employee involvement correspond to the types of users in BSC Designer. The awareness tier is automated with view-only users. The contribution tier is automated with data input users. And the ownership tier is automated with power users. My recommendation is to conduct a self-assessment of your organization to understand where you are in terms of strategic maturity and estimate the number and type of users required.